Minasan, konnichiwa, Alex desu. Hi everyone, I'm Alex. Do you want to learn Japanese but don't know where to start? And is one of your biggest goals to understand anime and manga without a dictionary? That was my dream when I was little too. But let's be real, who wants to learn Japanese with boring, complicated textbooks when you could learn it through anime and manga instead? Now that I live and work in Japan, I've decided to just do that. And I want to take you along for the journey. Let me help you learn Japanese even faster, and let's embark on a leveling up quest together. In this very first episode, we are kicking things off with one of the most iconic manga of all time, One Piece. Hajime mashou. Let's start. The sentences we are breaking down today are from a conversation between two very legendary characters from One Piece. Monkey D. Luffy, and red-haired Shanks, Akagami no Shanks. Luffy is a village boy, Mura no shonen, from a small harbor town, Chisaina Minatomura, who dreams of becoming a pirate, Kaisoku. Shanks, on the other hand, is a pirate captain, Kaisoku Gashira, who has been anchoring his ship, Kaisoku-sen, in the Chisaina Minatomura, small harbor town, for about a year now. After Luffy stabbed himself to show he was serious about becoming a Kaisoku, the entire pirate crew went drinking. At the bar, Luffy and the other Kaisoku keep asking Shanks to let Luffy join them on their next voyage, Kokai. Shanks, however, explains why he is so reluctant to bring Luffy on board, leading to some playful yet heated banter between the two. Let's take a look at our first tango vocabulary. 要するに、お前はガキすぎるんだ。要するに in short, お前 you impolite は particle topic marker, ガキ brat kiddie, すぎる too much of, んだ adds an explanatory tone. The first line is from our captain Akagami no Shanks, red-haired Shanks. 要するに、お前はガキすぎるんだ。要するに、お前はガキすぎるんだ。要するに。The phrase 要するに is an expression that means in short. It can also be translated as to sum up, to put it simply, or to cut a long story short. For example, you could say, in short, you are right. 要するに、あなたが正しい。Or, to cut a long story short, I'm busy. 要するに、私は忙しい。In the context of our sentence, 要するに introduces Shanks' explanation of why he hesitates to take Luffy along on the pirate voyage. It suggests that Shanks wants to wrap up discussion before it becomes a lengthy argument with Luffy. お前 Next we have お前, which means you. However, it's important to note that お前 sounds informal and blunt. Depending on the context and the relationship between the speakers, it can be considered really impolite or even rude. Especially in formal situations, it's very confrontational and disrespectful. Here, Shanks is using omae because he is speaking casually, but also with a slight sense of authority over Luffy as someone older and more experienced. Wa. The wa here is the topic marker in Japanese. It's a grammar particle that marks the word before it as the topic of the sentence. In our sentence, the topic is omae, you. While wa doesn't translate directly into English, you can think of it as meaning as for you or maybe talking about you. Gakki. The word gaki means brat, kiddie, or simply kid. Like omae, it's informal and often carries a derogatory tone. It's used here to emphasize that Shanks thinks Luffy is too young to be a pirate. Sugiru. The next part, sugiru, is a suffix that means too something something, or too much of. It's used to describe something excessive. For example, tabe sugiru means eat too much. Nomi sugita means drank too much. Isogashi sugiru means too busy. Yasashi sugiru means too kind. In our sentence, sugiru follows the noun gaki, creating gaki sugiru, which translates to too bratty, too much of a brat, or too much of a kiddie. Here, Shanks is emphasizing that Luffy is still just a kid, way too young and too immature to be taken on a dangerous pirate voyage. Nda. At the end of the sentence we have nda, which adds an explanatory tone. While it's tricky to translate directly into natural English, it essentially means the explanation is that du-du-du, or the reason is that du-du-du. Adding nda makes the sentence feel more like Shanks is giving a justified, grounded reason for a statement. It strengthens the idea that Shanks isn't just making a rude comment, but offering an explanation for why he thinks Luffy isn't ready for the pirate life. So while gaki sugiru is just a straightforward statement like you're too bratty or you're too much of a kiddie, the inclusion of nda adds a sense of explanation. Gaki sugirunda gives the sentence a deeper, more grounded tone and conveys that Shangso is clarifying the reason behind the thoughts, as in, the explanation is that you are too bratty. The reason is that you are too much of a kiddie. Kinda like this. This extra nuance helps convey that Shangso isn't just stating a fact, but offering a reason behind his refusal or his hesitation. Now that we have broken it down, let's translate the full sentence. 要するにお前はガキすぎるんだ literally translates as, in short, as for you, you are too much of a kiddie. More nuanced translations are, in short, you are too much of a kiddie. To put it simply, you are too immature. To cut a long story short, you are way too young. Simply put, the reason is that you are too much of a baby. The use of gaki and omae in Shanks' sentence gives it a rough, blunt tone. However, these words are not meant to insult Luffy, rather they are used to convey the seriousness of the situation. Shangso may sound harsh, but his intention is to make Luffy realize that becoming a pirate is not all fun and games, because he really cares about him. In a real-life situation in Japan, it's definitely better not to use omae at all, because you will usually come across as rude and or arrogant. When talking to or about someone, it's always better to use the person's name instead of you. For example, アレックスはワンピースを見たことがないの? Ha? Alex. You have never seen One Piece? 要するに One Piece はちょっと長すぎるんだよね. To put it simply, One Piece is just a bit too long. If you want to be polite, you can add the suffix san after the name. So you can say Luffy-san or Shanks-san. If it's a person you are good friends with and you know well, you could probably use anata or kimi, the common words for you. But definitely not omae, please. Don't do this. Okay, let's move on to the next set of our tango. Yay! せめて、あと、10歳、年取る、考える、やる、よ。せめて、at least. あと、more, 10歳, 10 years old. 年取る, to age. 考える, to think over. やる, to give, to let have. よ, sentence final particle, which works like an exclamation mark. Now that we have gone over the vocabulary, let's analyze the second sentence of Akagami no Shanksu step by step. せめてあと10歳年取ったら考えてやるよ。せめてあと10歳年取ったら考えてやるよ。せめて The word せめて means at least or at the very least. It conveys that there's a minimal requirement or expectation before the speaker is willing to accept something or make a compromise. In this sentence, せめて emphasizes the absolute minimum that Luffy must meet before Shanks will consider his request to join the pirate voyage. あと Ato is a versatile word in Japanese that can mean more, later, or after, depending on the context. For example, この後 One Piece を見る. This means, after this, I will watch One Piece. また後でね. This means, see you later. However, in this sentence, ato refers to an additional amount. Specifically, it modifies chusai, indicating 10 more years or an extra 10 years. Chusai. The number 10 in Japanese is pronounced chu. When talking about age, the counter sai is used to indicate how many years old someone is. So, chusai means 10 years old. Here, be careful with the pronunciation. It's chusai with a small tsu that creates a glottal stop sound. So it's not chusai, but chusai. However, in this sentence, chusai doesn't refer to Luffy's current age. Instead, ato chusai refers to 10 more years, an additional 10 years of aging that Shanks thinks Luffy needs before he is old enough for a pirate journey. Toshi tottara. Next, we have toshi tottara, which is a conjugated form of toshi toru. Toshi toru means to age or to get older, and the tada ending is a conditional that means if, when, or after. To form tada, the verb toru is conjugated into its past tense, totta, and then ra is added. So the breakdown is toshi toru means to age, toshi totta is aged or got older, the past tense, and toshi tottara is if you age, when you get older, or after you have grown older. When combined with ato chusai, the phrase ato chusai toshi tottara translates as if you age 10 more years when you are 10 years older, or once you have aged 10 more years. Kangaete. The next word, kangaete, is the te form of kangaeru, which means to think about, consider, or take into consideration. The te form has multiple uses in Japanese, but here it essentially connects kangaeru with the following verb, yaru. Yaru. Yaru is a versatile word with various meanings, such as to do, to play, to give, or to let someone have something. In this context, yaru means to give, or combined with the te form, it means to do someone a favor. It's often used when referring to someone of equal or lower status, which is fitting for the relationship between Shanks and Luffy. Together, kangaete yaru means do you the favor of thinking about it, or I will give it some thought. In natural English, we would probably just say, I will think about it, or let me think about it. Yo. Finally, we have the sentence-ending particle yo, which adds emphasis to the statement. It conveys the speaker's strong conviction or opinion, and in English it's often best reflected with an exclamation mark. Now let's combine everything and look at the translation for the second sentence. せめてあと10歳年取ったら考えてやるよ means, if you age at least 10 more years, I will do you a favor and think about it. Or alternatively, you could also translate it as, once you've aged 10 more years at least, I will give it a thought. Or, get at least 10 years older and then I will think about it. I will consider it when you are at least 10 years older. Let me think about it when you have got 10 or more years on you. Just like before, Shanks sounds casual but firm when telling Luffy that he is too young to become a kaisoku. The use of semete and kangaete yaru shows that Shanks isn't completely against Luffy coming along, but they also convey that there are specific conditions that have to be fulfilled first before he will allow this to happen. Using the sentence-ending particle yo adds extra emphasis and gives the sentence a more definite tone that reinforces Shanks' authority and unwavering decision. ちなみに、ルフィは何歳ですか? By the way, how old is Ruffy? Shanks は27歳ですよね。Shanks is 27 years old, isn't he? Luffy, if you know the answer, let me know. Bonus XP when you type your answer in Japanese. Ruffy's reply to Shanks' sentence we will cover in my next One Piece lesson. では、またね。バイバイ。